Hello fellow Walking Dead fans, this is Solid Dave Snake, continuing my reviews on the Walking Dead Comics Series 4 action figures by Mcfarlane Toys, and in this review we're going to take a look at Paul Jesus Monroe. And this action figure is the very first action figure based off of characters from the New Beginning story arc. And as you can see, I have a special comic in the background today, which is what this action figure is based off of. The cover art for issue 134, From Whispers to Screams, which is an incredible issue of the comic book. The whole first half of it follows Jesus fighting the Whisperers, and then the back half follows a really neat story with Carl and Sophia. But this action figure is a great depiction of the cover art. And this is actually the second Jesus action figure that we have gotten. We have previously gotten, in last year's New York Comic Con, his original first appearance look. So a lot has changed in the look of Jesus from his all-out war look to his New Beginning looks. But let me pull both up here so you can see that Mcfarlane did a great job with keeping his details in his face the same. They both have totally different hair sculpts. The head sculpts are actually completely different, but they did a great job of keeping his comic book look in both forms. And of course, he has that samurai ponytail in this version, which I think is pretty neat. I like his new look in the comic books. So we'll set the old one aside here for a moment, and I'll give you a quick 360 of this Jesus before we go into his accessories. And he is the lightest on accessories in this series. He only comes with this little handgun, which is just like a lot of handguns we've gotten in the past. And there's actually no holster to put this on him, so he can only hold it. And it's black with some nice silver dry brushing through there. I really like whenever they do that with the coloring. But his best accessory is his broadsword here. And it has great detail with the blood splatter throughout. And of course silver for the blade, kind of bronze look for the actual grip. It looks like it's wrapped, it has brown here, and more bronze down here at the bottom. But that blood splatter really turned out nice on this. Has a nice random look to it. And he holds both of his accessories great. And this sword will actually fit in the gigantic sheath on his right hand side. And you have to be careful with the arm, but it will fit all the way down in there. So he holds that really nice. So light on accessories, but I'm not complaining too much because really all he used when he was in this getup was the sword. So it's just kind of a nice little bonus having the pistol thrown in as well. But now let's take a look at Jesus from head to toe. And I've already compared his head sculpt with the old Jesus. But I almost like this one a little better. I mean, I really like his first appearance look overall more than this Jesus, but this head sculpt may be a little better. It really turned out nice. Beard's painted on perfect. I like all the individual strands of hair flowing throughout here too. And the eyes and eyebrows are painted in there perfect. And his overall look is really unique at this point in the comic books. He looks like a motocross samurai type, because this is actually motocross gear for the armor. With all the pads, and his back padding is my favorite, his back armor. Almost looks like a turtle shell, which is kind of fitting for Jesus, because the way he attacks is almost like a Ninja Turtle. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of color variation with this action figure, but there really is. It looks all black, but once you get up close, you can notice the little details through here with the silver coming out. And it's like that all around throughout his armor. And even under the armor where the fabric is, has a great textured detail to it. You can see it looks like woven fabric all the way through, and even running your hand down it, you can feel what's in the sculpt. That is all sculpted in there. Nice detail on the elbow pads and wrist guards. Gloves don't have that much painted detail, but there's nice sculpted detail in there. Little indentations on the fingers and on the actual hand. You can see a little bit of a brown wrap here on the wrist. And a lot of dings and wear on the front to this armor as well, which really comes out nice. Belt came out nice, and the sheath is perfect. And once we start getting lower here, we get some blood splash effect going on, which was a nice touch. And it really pops out on this black as well, as you can see. And even down on his boots as well, there's blood splatter. All on the lower part of his legs. And I don't know what the deal is with these hooks running down the right side of his leg here. Now there's no color variation there either. So I almost didn't even notice them before doing this review. And once again, Mcfarlane does a great job with the folding of the fabric, making it look natural. And there is slight color variation for the straps holding this armor on the shins. So really nice detail on this action figure. And articulation wise, I would say he is better than that original Jesus. You can get a lot more out of this guy. He's not as restricted. But his head is on a ball joint, which will turn all the way around, tilt a little bit from side to side, and it won't really look that far down and will only look that far up. But he does have a ball joint and hinge at the shoulders, which will go all the way up to 90 degrees. This little point of the armor here is pliable, so it will not restrict. And it will rotate all the way around as well. And same thing at the elbows, which will go straight and bend up to 90 degrees, and of course rotate all the way around. And his wrist point of articulation is really nice. Instead of having that real thin piece here, he has it all the way up by the armor is where the cut is. And let me get a hold of it and I'll show you. You can turn it there, and then his actual hand is on a hinge and a peg, so you can get that much movement out of it and get full rotation. And his waist is on a cut point, which you could turn all the way around, but I'm not going to do it now with his sword in the sheath. And he has the updated leg articulation, which he can get a lot more movement out of than his previous counterpart. You can get him kicking all the way up to 90 degrees and a good ways back as well. And then, of course, kick all the way out to the side, so you can get Jesus and some of his nice kicking poses that he does in the comic books. And he has the same point at the elbows at the knees, which will go all the way up to 90 degrees and back straight and rotate all the way around. And the only point that I'm upset with is there's no ankle articulation. He only has a cut at the upper boot, which is a little upsetting because we have gotten action figures in this line with boots that they put in the ankle articulation, and I don't know why they are skipping on it now with figures with boots. They just put cuts there. So that really does hinder a lot of having this new leg articulation. You would be able to get a lot more posability out of it if it had that ankle rocker down there, which I don't understand. They had them in the comic book series 2 action figures, so I don't know why they've went away with that. I really hope they go back to that. But all in all, this action figure is my least favorite out of this series, but that doesn't mean it's a bad action figure. I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot of new action figures from the New Beginning story arc, and this is where it all started, right here in the action figures. This is our first one in the New Beginning story arc. And it's very fitting having it be Jesus, because he plays a big role in a lot of the upcoming storyline. So, alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the review, and stay tuned because I will have the Pincushion Zombie review up next.